I'm Solomon, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to collage. Um, Now one might ask, why would I want to collage? Well, I feel like collaging is a great way to reuse newspapers, comics, or magazines that you might have laying around the house. It's very inexpensive because, well, if you don't already have comics or newspapers, I know Schoolcraft gives free newspaper out. I like picking up some of those when I can. As well as comic book stores will have some really cheap comic books in the back at about 50 cents if you find a good comic book store. And I'll pick up a couple of those, just about $1 for 2 comic books with a good amount of art in it. And it's a very, very cheap hobby, which I really appreciate that part. And finally, it's really fun, and it is a relaxing way to express yourself creatively, right? So basically, I'll be getting in the zone when I'm collaging, and you kind of get in that flow. And it's really relaxing because you can eventually set a goal in your head on what you want to create, and then it's just getting there, right? It's just the cutting and the gluing, and that brings me right into what do you need to collage. You're just going to need a base paper. So I have some scrapbooking paper. I have a smaller one, and I have a bigger one as well. Depending on the size of your collage that you're looking to have when you're done, that's the base paper that you're going to want to start out with. You're going to want a glue stick, of course, to glue together all of the pieces that you end up cutting out. You're going to want a cutting utensil. This could be a straight edge razor like I have, or it could be a knife. Really any tool that you're comfortable using, even some safety scissors. Of course, with those cutting utensils, be as safe as possible, never run with scissors, disclaimer. Also, you're going to need your collaging paper. In one way or another, you're going to need, comics, magazines, newspapers. So I got a good stack there. Like I say, I've been collecting comic books because I've been getting really into collaging. So that's from my own personal stack here. And then last but not least, I love having a cutting board. It really helps with the not scratching your glass, not scratching a tabletop. You can get these pretty much anywhere. You can use the one you got in the kitchen. Of course, be careful with the glue, but not difficult to find something that you can cut on, right? So that's going to be the utensils that you need. And from there, it's just pretty much getting right into business, right? So I'm going to start looking through here. These are the comics that I have. Let's see. Pick out one that's really screaming out to you. For example, this is the one I've been using here. I really like the art that it has on there. I really like the way it looks. I like its aesthetic. So I just kind of look through and I try to find some. Got stuff falling on me. I just try to find some pages that I might really appreciate, right? So before I really get into that, because I do like a lot of the art that I have in there, I'm going to want to start out with my base. So for this one, I'm going to want to keep it kind of small because I don't have a lot of time. This usually takes me a good amount of time. I would say maybe set aside like an hour at least. And sometimes I'll find myself thinking I'm done and then not even being happy with the project. I got those two mixed up, but not being happy with that at the end there. I'll go right back into it. I use glue, so I can pretty much peel off the glue if I want, and I'll totally reconstruct a project I may have just started. So that's what I'm doing here. This is my rough draft, so I'm going to be cutting this in half. One half will be for the rough draft, one half will be for my final project here. So let me just get a good cut down the paper here, nice and clean. Very good. So these are my 2 split papers now. And I'm going to go and I'm going to start finding the artwork that I'd like to use. Now, I'm not going to try to take too long here on this one. So usually I'll start out with kind of the aesthetic I'm looking for. So I'll do like, you know, am I looking for more of a dark aesthetic? Am I looking for more of a bright aesthetic? So I'll start looking through for just kind of those colors and the kind of aesthetic I'm looking for. For example, something I just saw right now, I see a pretty cool one. I'm going to take this piece out. So this is the cover here. Rocket Man is what the comic book is. And on the back there, I just see this really cool winged looking thing coming out of the what I think is to be the Rocket Man, who I also see on the front here, who has got it looks like there's an eagle there on the top left, and the character flying. So just with this, I know I can get some really good stuff out of this. So I'm just gonna start cutting. Let me see here. I'm gonna clear my workspace because I don't need any of this anymore. I already finished with the base paper and I already finished with the comics. So go ahead and put those down there. Let me see if I can find my glue stick really quick. Yep, there it is. So now that I have my front page here of my comic, and I have my glue stick and my knife, of course be careful with that knife, and I have my base paper, I can go ahead, sorry about that, I can go ahead and just dive right in. So I'm gonna start looking at the art here. First thing I'm gonna take out is, like I was saying, I really like this wing guy. So just in case there's something behind it, it looks like there might be, so I'm going to cut in a place that won't mess up the paper behind it. Sometimes I'll find something where I really like the art on one side, and then I look on the other side, and I really like the art on the other side as well. And so that's when you just kind of have to decide within yourself which art you would rather have in your project, because obviously you can't have both sides. So like what I'm talking about, you see I have that winged kind of artwork, but on the other side here I have this really cool looking guy, and I know right off the bat I'm not going to be able to use both of those. And since I did see the winged one first, that's going to go ahead and be the one that I'll use. So then on this side here I see an action scene. Guy flying, looks like there's commotion there on the bottom, and then there's that eagle as well. I'm going to go ahead and cut out all three of those different parts, just to kind of capture the emotion in all three of those. And then let's see what we got from there. So I'm going to cut off all the unnecessary parts here. I'm going to go ahead right here, cut off this Rocket Man title. So it looks like I have it in title there. Sorry about that. It looks like right here I got a good chunk of just kind of unusable words. So that's a good time to just kind of toss that. I'll throw those pieces out. The only stuff that I'll keep is something that I feel like I want to have for a future project. I don't think I'm going to want to keep those for a future project. So now I'm just going to go ahead and cut out, like I was saying, there's an eagle on a mountain here. I'm making sure to cut this just about right so that I'm still getting the eagle on the mountain, but I'm also getting Rocket Man flying away. Alright, there we go. So just like that, I got that eagle there on that mountain, see? Even though it's a little choppy, because I also had to have Rocket Man there flying, right? Look pretty cool. So now I'm going to cut this bit right here, and cut it from there. I'm going to cut it like this, right back. So what I did here is I took out this little piece. See, I have Rocket Man flying, I have the commotion there on the bottom. Now I have kind of this, I do kind of like this. It's kind of a, what is that? Texture, good texture to add there. So I might just keep that. I'll put it on the side there. Might not be as important later, but now I'm going to cut apart the commotion and Rocket Man here. And boom, just like that, I have all of my pieces. The only thing I would do after this would be to kind of clean up the sides and the edges. But it looks like we're at about 9 minutes here, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of speed things up a little bit. So once I have all my pieces, and let me kind of show you what it's looking like here. I'm really liking how it's looking. So this is a deconstructed cover of the Rocket Man comic book here. So you can see, not bad at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting to work on that now. All right. So just to really test my cutting skills, put them to the test here. See how fast I can get these all out. So, of course, always nice and careful. That is more important than rushing into things, and kind of getting the project done is not as important as your left, pinky finger. So definitely be careful with the knife. Let me cut off all of this excess here. I don't have to be too perfect, but I just want to get the stuff that doesn't have to be there, right? Sometimes I'll find myself having too much stuff. Sometimes I'll be surprised at how little I have when I start cutting things out and putting them on the paper. I'll see a lot of white. Like, you don't want white when you're collaging. You want it all to be kind of full, right? Just a lot of noise going on is what you want. So it's very disheartening when you see all that white on that paper, because it's an immediate, how do I fix that, right? So that's usually when I'll go back and, like I said at the beginning, I'll revisit projects. That's what I'll be doing, is I'll be like, how can I fix this, all of this white here on the page? And I'll have to go back and yes, I will. One time I took off all the stuff on the top because there was so much white on the bottom. I just took everything off, flipped it over, and then I glued a bunch of texture and layer underneath, like what I was saying with this fella. I took a bunch of stuff like that and started just kind of putting it on the paper, and then I put all the stuff that I wanted on top of that, and it came out looking really nice. So let me just finish this up here now. Just like that. Looks like I have, actually there's one more piece here. I'm going to want to do that as well. It's just kind of this Rocket Man piece. I'm going to clean it up because I do like the overall look of this actually. I don't want to take away too much of its integrity there. Another funny thing, look on the back, boom, same exact thing. So that's exactly like I was saying, you're going to have to choose between those two. So now that I have that, boom, base paper. So I'll take my fella here. I'm gonna get this. Since this was the first one that I saw, I really want that to be kind of on there, of course. So I'm gonna take then my texture here that I have, and I'm gonna kind of hide the space, the white space here, as best I can, right? Very important part that you want to try to do there. So that's what I'm going to do really quick now. This is when you'll take out your glue stick. So just like this, I'm going to be able to cover up, hopefully, that white area. So that's looking pretty good. Let me get, so it looks like this side is the one that was asking for this. So let's see. Ooh, that looks good. There's still a little white there, but I like what that's doing. It's kind of a leading line there. So then I'm gonna add this eagle fella as well. And let me see. So this is the part that I'll usually start kind of getting a flow going, right? This is when you're really trying to figure out how to get all your pieces together here. This is a lot more tough than I thought it would be. I'm not gonna lie. So what I'm gonna do, instead of taking these small pieces, I'm gonna take these bigger pieces like Rocket Man flying in the commotion here. I'm gonna cut these up even smaller, and I'm gonna utilize those as the background pieces, which I think is gonna look really good personally. So I'm kind of excited for how this is gonna turn out. I hope you are as well. It's been very fun. So let's see. Boom. I have two different people kind of in commotion there, freaking out. Oh, Rocket Man, you know what's going on. We got Rocket Man flying. Let me do a little bit more work here on Rocket Man flying. Right? And of course, always be careful with the knife. It's not a toy, although you're having fun. Make sure you don't get too liberal here with this knife. You want to keep it easy. And more so telling myself that. Bad history with knives here. So let's see. Alright. Now I got everything cut up nice and clean. I'm going to go ahead and put that down. And let's see here. That looks really good. Wow. Geez, I don't think I have enough time for this. Let's see. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue it all down. Because I like the way this is looking. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start gluing. So this brings us to our final part of the collage. I'm going to pick up this glue stick. And what I usually like to do here is I'll take the pieces. Okay, well first I'll take the scrap, throw it all away. Don't need it, right? So handy dandy trash can here. Out of sight, out of mind. There we go. And just a nice clean project going on here. So I'm gonna take what I've laid out here, flip it over like this. Not always perfect, yep, I got some stuff falling, but I will be able to then kind of keep the integrity of this piece and pick up the, that's moving all over the place now at this point, but pick up this and I'll get a nice glue all over the base here. So, yep, there you go. And then from there, I'm going to take my initial piece here. After I cut it just a little bit, kind of forgot to clean this one up, so let me get a little cut in here. There you go, quick one. And put this now on top of, that's not true, that was a close call. I'm going to want to do these ones on the bottom here first. So first I'm going to do this fella. This fella. Well, here we go. Another one. Really good. And do another little glue on top of the ones that I just put there. Yep, and then this fella. Kind of going like this. Add a lot of layers, add a lot of texture. All very important to do. And go ahead and kind of move these a little bit. While glue is sticky, it's not permanent. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move it. Definitely don't get afraid to kind of get in there sometimes and get it all where I want it to be. So there we go. I'm going to glue it back down. Add this right here, and this is starting to look like a really nice piece. So you're going to see there's a little bit of overlap there on that piece. Which is unfortunate. Usually I like it looking a little more clean, but there are no rules in collaging. It's whatever makes you happy. Right now it's making me pretty happy. So this is the final piece there. Got Rocket Man in the middle putting on his helmet. You got the Rocket Man here flying. You got the guy in the car there with the commotion. You got her there as well, kind of freaking out about Rocket Man, and then I got a nice little eagle there on the top. So a little sticky, but that is my finished piece there. hey, not bad, I'd say. So, thanks for watching. That was How to Collage.